Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I want to start off by thanking everybody who has been disliking my videos over the last 9 months, ever since I came up with the idea of calling myself the Peter Dislike Show and asking people to dislike for support. You know, what started out as a funny prank has kind of become a little bit of a superstition for me. Let me explain why. See, 9 months ago, I got glued to the Peter Schiff show because gold prices were correcting. I was looking for the bottom to buy some gold mining stocks, silver mining stocks, and I really made out like a bandit. Well, I haven't made money on it yet, but made dollars on it yet, I should say. But I bought a lot of gold and silver mining stocks when they were considerably lower by historical standards, and I'm very pleased about that. So I got my eyes glued on the Peter Schiff show, Schiff, Peter Schiff show. He has an opening theme that goes bum 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 bum, the Peter Schiff show, right? And I thought it would be funny. My middle name just happens to be Peter, and so I decided to make a parody video called the Peter Shit Show because I always thought of his show as the Peter Shit Show, and I love cussing as well. Although I'm more of a fan of the F word, the fuck, and so I my first day in eighth grade actually, I was trying to dare a classmate of mine to say fuck in the classroom, and so he made me say it first, and we had a good laugh, and that was the beginning of our friendship. Unfortunately, he and I had a little bit of conflict. I'll get to why in a moment. It's actually quite an interesting story. We still talk to each other from time to time, but we had some conflicts along the way. And our first introduction to each other in eighth grade was saying fuck in the classroom. Like, he and I love risk taking activities, like saying fuck in the classroom and worrying about if we're going to get in trouble. And so that was our introduction to each other. And so 20 years later, now I'm going Peter Shit Show and waving my middle finger. Let's do that. Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Shit Show. Bum, 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 bum. So that was my opening theme for a couple of weeks. And then I started getting a ton of dislikes. And I was upset because I've been making YouTube videos for 13 years now, and all of a sudden, all my likes have become dislikes. I was getting dozens of them on some videos. And then I decided, hey, somebody has to be the most disliked video ever. And so I decided to ask people to show their support by disliking the video. And it just made me feel better when I saw dislikes. Now that I was asking people to dislike my video for support, it gave me a nice feeling to see dislikes when I'm asking for them. And so I started getting a lot of dislikes. Oh, by the way, somebody just left a like on my video. Would you mind changing it to a dislike, please? There's a reason for that. I'll get to that in a second. And so I started calling my show the Peter Dislike Show, and I would go, the Peter Dislike Show. I've become really good at my signature swinging of the finger. Many years ago, one of my favorite commercials on TV was Edgar Snyder. He's a lawyer for car accident victims. And he would say, there's no fee unless we get money for you. And he would go at the end of the commercial, and remember, there's no fee unless we get money for you. And Peter Dislike has kind of become the equivalent of that for me. So I changed my show to the Peter Dislike Show. And I distinctly remember one video got 400 some dislikes. And I got really excited. And that weekend, I went to a board game event. It was a once in a year kind of conference. And I met a girl there. I want to say she's a distant cousin of Carrie Underwood. Hey, whoever left a like, would you mind changing it to a dislike? It has some superstitious meaning to me. I'll get to that in a second. So I got this video with 400 some dislikes. And I went to a board game conference, and I meet a distant cousin of Carrie Underwood, and eventually we kissed, and that was the first kiss I had in about 3.5 years at that point. And I quickly discovered that getting a lot of dislikes on my YouTube channel is very lucky. The other day, I got a video with 7 dislikes, which is a lot for now. I haven't been getting those mega dislike videos for a long time. I had a video with 7 dislikes, and I went to a board game meetup, and I meet another girl, this time a distant cousin. I want to say of Taylor Swift. And so dislikes have become really lucky things for me in terms of meeting people. And so that's all good. Let's do some fortune telling. I'm going to see that distant cousin of Taylor Swift later tonight. So I'm going to do some fortune telling about it with a deck of 5 Alive cards. Well, that's good. 6 feet. The two of us could be 6 feet away from everything, all the dramas in life, right? And look at that. Three is a very lucky number for me. It means that singles are being accepted by. I'm going to talk about a protest I'm gonna have over the next couple of weeks. Although, if things between me and the distant cousin of Taylor Swift go well, I might not get a chance to do that. I'll talk about it in a second. Look at death. Okay, a little bit of protesting that I hope to do over the coming weeks. So right now, as I speak, the what is that called? The Arizona State Fair is going on, and I can't bring myself to go to it because I get upset every time about something there. Some of the rides there require 2 people to ride together, which is perfectly fine with me. I totally appreciate the physics of how the ride works. It might be safer. It might be safe in the sense that if you have any sort of medical emergency, that somebody is aware of what's going on, right? The last thing you want is to get on a ride. Let's say it's a Ferris wheel. You suffer a heart attack at the top of the ride, and there's nobody next to you to alert. When the ride swings around. Hey, medical emergency here. There's certainly that possibility as well. I appreciate it. What I don't appreciate is how the organizers at the state fair um, deal with this situation. Right? They put up a big sign like no single riders when they could put up a sign that says, if you're riding this alone, you may be paired with a stranger. Right? If they put that sign up there, I'm sure a lot more people might be willing to come to the state fair, right? So I always get upset when I go to this. Last time I almost got kicked out actually because I was at the Ferris. I hadn't thought it through yet before I went there. I was there and I was trying to ask people if they were riding alone or something like that, and it created a little bit of commotion. And the operator was very upset at me. I'm thinking this time around, I want to be in a good mood on the day that I go. I probably won't go there today because I'm kind of stressed out at the moment. The last thing I want to do is to get upset, but I want to make a statement. What I'm thinking of doing is lining up for the Ferris wheel as normal, get to the front of the line and ask if they would match me up with somebody to ride. Hopefully it just goes well, right? Then I won't have anything to protest about. If they don't, I'll maybe wait a couple rounds, and when they still can't find somebody to ride with me, I'm just going to get on that ride, or maybe block if the operator doesn't let me on, at least get on the platform of that ride so that they can't continue the ride and say, you know what, I'm just like any other guest. Why don't you figure out a way to make this work? And just unless they want to figure it out, just ignore everything else they say, right? And who knows? Maybe they might call the police, and I'll talk to the police officer about why I'm doing what I'm doing. Of course, it takes a very stable mind to do that, which is why I haven't been able to bring myself to do this yet. And basically, just to make some waves about it, right? I might get kicked out of the park, but at least I'll have. That's why I want to have a stable mind before I go there, right? Because it's not going to be pretty for sure. But then, speaking up is never pretty, right? But anyways, that's something I might. Let's do some fortune telling about the Single Lives Matter protest that I plan to do. Later this week, before I go to the state fair, I'll probably want to write a will or maybe even record a video with my last will, just in case anything were to go wrong, right? We all know that Black Lives Matter doesn't always go well. Okay. One. Yay, 6, right? 6 has become a really lucky number for me because I did so well when I was 6 feet away from everybody else. 6 and 3 are two lucky numbers for me. 3 meaning that singles are accepted by couples in our society. 6 means leave me alone, right? 1, 1. Yay, it's for single lives matter, right? 1 equals 0. By the way, another reason I haven't done the protest yet. Feel free to leave a suggestion if you have any tweaks you want to make to the protest, by the way. But one reason I haven't done that yet is I just started work at Grand Canyon University. I've been teaching at Phoenix College for about 6 months now. I want to get some solid footing, good reputation at work, so that, say I were to get arrested, spend 2-3 nights in jail, miss a couple of work days, and talk about why this was an important protest to make, people will actually side with me, right? I think I'm too new at GCU for myself to do this right now. I'm thinking of doing it on a Sunday night. That way, if I do have to go to jail for whatever reason, it will be Monday and I'll have a couple days to deal with that, right? I don't want to do it on a Friday night where I have to languish in there over the weekend. So maybe this Sunday I'll give it a try. Okay, at least no deaths going on, right? 8 is 21. 1. Please leave a comment if you have suggestions for the protest. I think I've mentioned it a few times on my channel, but I want to kind of clean up my planning for it. Death. And if I die doing this protest, which it might happen, right? I'm not going to be too upset over it because life is about what you leave behind, not what happens while you're here on Earth, right? In my opinion. All right, leave a comment. This is the Peter Protest Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Protest Show. Bum 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 bum.